Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and there is much to cover in this exciting entry on the Moon Lambo channel, including this piece from the Daily Hodl. Ripple unlocks 1 billion XRP, sends millions of dollars in crypto to mysterious wallet. Now, I mentioned the unlocking briefly as it's a monthly tradition at this point, right? Ripple unlocking from their escrow 1 billion XRP. So I mentioned it yesterday in a video. There's a little bit more to it now when they're talking about the disbursement of these funds and going to a mysterious wallet. Where could it be? Will we get to the bottom of this? Do you have a raging clue indicating where perhaps we should search for the answers? So we'll get into that. Also, there's a government entity that is promoting XRP, and there is a notable XRP community member who had something to say about that, and I'm going to share that with you. I'm also going to engage in a little critical thinking exercise. I got a brief thread on the Twitters from an XRP community member and someone else that we're going to run through, share with you their thoughts and mine. But before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you would please, ever so delicately, just give a little tap-a-roo to that like button. It don't cost you nothing, man, and you give free content. I mean, unless you completely hate it, and then you should not do that. But you would make me a sad panda. That's not good. Also, I'm going to go ahead and recommend right now, let's set the mood right for this type of content. Go ahead, pour yourself a glass of Cavassier. Go ahead and microwave yourself a nice fish sandwich. Just get all relaxed on the couch, kick your feet up, curl your toesies woesies, and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. All right, let's go ahead and dive in now. Let's go ahead and start with this, actually. Let's go ahead and start with this Twitter thread here. Shout out to Poochie, who tagged me along with a number of others in the XRP community with a link to this piece, which I'm not covering in this video. I actually happen to have already made a video about this yesterday. It was Bitcoin bull Anthony Pompliano. Ripple success will not influence XRP's price. I already said my piece on that, but there ended up being an interesting thread that resulted from this. And so, Poochie, regardless, thank you very much for tagging me. I really do appreciate it. And so let's go ahead and run through this. The Poochie wrote the following. Someone heard about IPO, initial public offering. Someone is worried. Bitcoin bull Pompliano. Ripple success will not influence XRP's price. Yeah, and indeed he was, he made it very clear. He's long Ripple, the company, not so long XRP. It's silly stuff from my perspective, but he was not being a troll about it. He's just flat out wrong. That's all. I like the guy. I think Anthony Pompliano. I think he's being honest, and you know what? That I value that so much. I don't care if anybody disagrees with me. I just want somebody to engage with somebody that's like, just in life in general, to engage with somebody in conversation that is intellectually honest, and that I'm confident that is the case. And then I can disagree with you till we're blue in the face. I don't care because I love diversity of thought, but it's not fun when people get butthurt because somebody has a different opinion than them. That's just childish and stupid, and you're basically a Neanderthal if that's how you behave. I'm just saying, that's my opinion. But anyway, somebody named Mladen Sudarovec, I don't know. I'm not good with foreign names. I'm famous for not being good with foreign names. Anyway, I'm going to call him Mladen, which I'm about 99.99% sure is not how you say that, but I'm just going to call him Mladen because it's Mladen. So there you go. Mladen. Sounds like Milady? I don't know. Anyway, so here's what he had to say. Ripple has 350 partners and only 2 are using on-demand liquidity to a tune of 2.5 million per day at current price of 17.73 cents. Each partnership is valued at 0.000506 fractions of a penny moon. And so whatever math he did to get to those fractions of a penny is completely stupid. He's also factually incorrect. We know for sure that there are over 50 Ripple customers that are utilizing on-demand liquidity, which means XRP as a bridge currency. This number of 2, I don't know where that... I've never even seen that reported, that there are 2 companies utilizing on-demand liquidity. We got our first data from Ripple on this, the first number of customers utilizing on-demand liquidity. I believe it was November of last year, and they said that there were over 2 dozen. Well, 1 dozen is 12. 2 dozen is 24, and then so a couple dozen more, and then so again the phrasing more than a couple dozen means 24 plus at a minimum 1, which means we know that there were a minimum of 25 at that point, right? Okay. Then we saw Brad Garlinghouse speak publicly. It was, oh gosh, what was that for? I can't remember. Brad Garlinghouse, he's working remotely because of the whole pandemic thing, and he had some big, it might have been like a quarterly thing. I really can't remember at this point, but I made a video about this, and he was basically just talking about, I think it was just Q1 information. I want to say, I could be mistaken, but one of the pieces of information that came out is that they exceeded their goals in Q1 despite the pandemic really affecting things for the second half of March in particular. And they cited that they, I don't know if they cited a specific number. I am pulling from memory, admittedly, but I know this to be true for sure, and you can look it up yourself. Just use the Googles on the Webernets, you can find it. But Brad Garlinghouse was talking about how whatever the goal was for customers, they cited that, and then the percentage that would have been on-demand liquidity, or he just, I can't remember the specifics, but so it's the end result of all of this was that we knew as a result that there were a number 20-something customers, and so that means that at a minimum, if you put those two together, it was already over 50 XRP. Over 50 on-demand liquidity. I think my brain just misfired there. It happens from time to time. It happens to you too. Shut up. Now, anyway, so you put those together and you've got over 50 RippleNet customers utilizing XRP as a bridge currency via on-demand liquidity. So that's actually happening. And then what's interesting is that was just for Q1, so that doesn't take into account any number, so any customers they would have landed utilizing on-demand liquidity in December, and because he just didn't include that information, and then also it wouldn't have included any customers up to whatever point that was, and I think it was May. Gosh, when did this come out? I'm sorry, I really wish I could remember. But whatever point, it might have been May. So whatever it was, however many weeks into that, so it wouldn't have included, or maybe it was 8. I apologize, I just can't recall off the top of my head. But the point is, it didn't include everything up into that point when it was publicly announced in the calendar year 2020. So anyway, long way of saying this guy's wrong, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Pucci responded and wrote, "Hi, Mladen. Can you tell me who these two ODL partners are? If Ripple is misleading the public about on-demand liquidity, I would assume that this scam would greatly affect their IPO launch in a negative way and scare many investors. Why would Ripple take that chance?" Mladen responded by writing, "Only MoneyGram and Azimo are currently using on-demand liquidity." Flat out wrong. There are absolutely other. It's there's Mercury FX, and then there's I probably should have put myself on the spot. I really don't remember all of them off the top of my head. And then when I feel the pressure of being on the spot, then I choke. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. Maybe Flash FX. So whatever. So anyway, that already puts it at 4, right? So clearly not 2. I think that's all that matters, right? And so anyway, only MoneyGram and Azimo are currently using ODL. Ripple is not hiding this fact. Yeah, they're not hiding that content. It's not a fact, so don't call it a fact because that's stupid. But no, they didn't say that. And then he writes, check out Ripple website. Ripple is a great software and payment company, but their stock when they go IPO, XRP is just a poop product used to fund the rest of their business. So now, this is the part where you know that this must be a Bitcoin maxi troll. XRP is just a poop product used to fund the rest of their business. And so that's how you know. When they write something like that, now you know you got a Bitcoin maxi troll. Perhaps there could be an entire infestation of Bitcoin maxi trolls. You might need to peel back the carpet and see if there's any like underlying activity there. Who knows? Maybe like just knock on the wall and just you might have to go through it a little bit. Watch for studs, but you might need to see if there's an infestation of some of these Bitcoin maxi trolls in the walls. And you might have to get an extermination company to come and get rid of them. And also, if you hear murmurs in the middle of the night, that is also another strong indication that you may have a Bitcoin maxi troll infestation. So what does that sound like? It sounds like this. And if you've got a bunch of activity from these Bitcoin maxi trolls, it may sound a little bit more exuberant, and it could be like this. So just kind of be watching for that. And if that's the case, again, just contact your local extermination company. They will be able to take care of it. And you can pay them in XRP. So that's cool. And so Poochie responded, thanks. Should I buy Bitcoin instead? How many partners does Bitcoin have? Can you send me the Bitcoin website and business plan? I can't find any Bitcoin customer relations site or phone number on the web. Can you send me the Bitcoin head office address? Thanks in advance. I thought that was kind of fun. I know you cannot. And it's decentralized. Of course, XRP is decentralized too, so... But Maladen responded with, I guess you would call Bitcoin decentralized, so I guess you are right. You can't do that with Bitcoin. To which Poochie responded, don't get me wrong, I am a fan of what Bitcoin stands for, but I cannot invest my hard-earned money in digital assets that are not connected to a leader, organization, etc. I am not aware of any recent historical movements, projects, or organizations that have been successful. And I respect that position. So I'm somewhat similar to Poochie's approach on this, pretty close. I would say it's not that there has to be for a cryptocurrency a central authority that's in charge, and he's not even saying that about XRP. Like there's a central authority to the XRP ledger. It's more so that I just need to see developers building on top of whatever blockchain you're talking about and real world adoption, and then I'm cool with it. Like that's what I'm talking, and that's you do see that with XRP, with Ripple being the greatest cheerleader, but then you got Coil and others. There's Forte. There's all sorts of activity going on there, real world activity, which is rather meaningful from my perspective here. And it's not necessarily the case that within my lifetime I wouldn't be willing to invest in a cryptocurrency that doesn't have that. I just don't suspect that I would. If there was a cryptocurrency that actually gets adopted in some corner of the world, it's getting real traction for the use case that Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned in terms of just Bitcoin being a peer-to-peer cash system. If I saw that, okay. If I see there's real-world traction, technologically it works, it can scale, all that good stuff, well, yeah, I'm on board. That's fine. I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon, and I don't think that it's enough of a pain point for most people on the planet to even address it. For the vast majority of humans, no. But if that does happen, so yeah, that would be fine, even if there weren't developers building on top. If something actually gets adopted for that use case, which has not happened to this point, so that's an if, well, then I'd be fine with it. And that's why I'm pretty well on board with what Poochie's stating here. I think it's a pretty reasoned approach. For me, it's all about utility. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm a member of the XRP community. That's why I continue to put my money into XRP and run this channel. It's the most funnest hobby I've ever had, I'm telling you. Now, Maladen responded and wrote, Bitcoin was built as a deflationary asset without governance or control by financial system or any institution. Like dollar, it has value because we believe it has value. Unlike dollar, there are only so many Bitcoin. Ripple can walk away from XRP or dump it all without recourse. Okay. Well, first of all, XRP is deflationary as well. There is no central authority. XRP is a holder of XRP, a large one. They're transparent, and we know this coming into this, right? Or if we don't, it's our own damn fault for not researching what's going on. And if somebody has a problem with that, they should not invest in XRP. I fundamentally do not have a problem with centralized entities. Because think about business. What the hell is a decentralized business? My God, that doesn't even exist. That is stupid land, okay? You are in stupid land if you think that a decentralized business exists, okay? And it makes sense to trust in business unless there are reasons that are visible that make you think, okay, maybe this is somebody's going a little off the rails. It's not that every business on the planet operates in good faith, but you got to have confidence that businesses in general will, until you're given a reason not to. And so I don't have this down with banks, down with government, down with anything that's centralized mentality. I just don't. But to me, it's a childish and unsophisticated point of view. That's just how I feel. I do. I really feel that way. And so seeing that Ripple is the greatest cheerleader for XRP in the XRP ecosystem, and seeing that, yes, they could influence price. So imagine that they when XRP comes out of escrow, imagine they didn't put it back in, and then they store that up, and then they dump a bunch. Okay, super duper. But that's not in their self-interest, so why would I think that they would do that? And if they continue to act in good faith, why would I think they would do that? In life, as a human, if you're an adult human, you better recognize that you need to have trust in other people. And I'm sorry, if you've got some serious trust issues and can't handle that, I can't relate. I am not like that. It's silly. It's nonsensical. Stop it. Don't be an idiot stick. It's okay. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be okay here. And so I'm just not coming at it from the same mentality. I'm not coming at it from the same perspective. And so there we are. And so here you are, speaking of escrow, you've got the Daily Huddle piece here talking about what's moving around here. And I'm just going to briefly mention this. It's so funny. This is the concept of escrow holdings coming out every month is a story. Okay. And I mention it every month just because it's funny that it's a story. But here's what happened with the funds afterwards. So here we go. Ripple also recently transferred 30 million XRP worth about $5.3 million to an unknown wallet, which is highlighted on the screen. The mysterious wallet has received numerous payments from Ripple before, including 20 million XRP worth approximately $3.56 million. On June 25th, 30 million XRP on June 16th, 40 million XRP on June 8th, worth approximately $7.1 million, and 30 million XRP on June 2nd, according to BitHop. The wallet has a balance of $20 million, or 20 million XRP. So Ripple's still doing some stuff here. They've just dramatically reduced the amount of XRP that they're actually selling. And some of the stuff, it's neat when the XRP community does some research on their own because they're just as interested as I am and you are. And sometimes we can actually get to the bottom of some stuff here. So who knows? I'm sure people are looking into this, though. Next, take a look at this from XRP community member Galgatron. And he wrote the following. I love this. I like his bluntness. I'm a fan of Galgatron. I really am. And he wrote the following. XRP's a security, my ass. Do you really think the federal CFPB would promote XRP for payments if there was even a hint of uncertainty to its designation? XRP is not a security. If it ever was, it is no longer. And that's a point that I've made. It's possible, and it's the same with Ethereum. In fact, Jay Clayton of the SEC, he even cited that that Ethereum perhaps would have been a security back in the past, but it wasn't really being paid attention to. There's this nascent asset class, even more nascent than today. And so that's the neat thing about cryptocurrencies. They can go from centralized to decentralized. They can go from being a security to not a security. And perhaps then back again. Hopefully not. Right? And so it's a fascinating thing. Because, but before that wasn't possible ever before with any other asset that I'm aware of anyway. Not unless I'm really not thinking of a situation where that could occur. No, that's never been an issue. It's never been on the table. This is a different animal, which is why the SEC and the government in general, certainly in the United States, is having trouble figuring out how to handle this, and part of it is apathy, for sure, and people that don't want to put their necks on the line regulating this thing in case something goes wrong. So there's a bunch at play here. But the CFPB, it's a United States government entity here, and I made a video about this in the past, but I want to highlight this. So here's a screen grab that Galgatron wanted to share. And it's right here. I think there's two. So here's what I'm going to read the part highlighted in blue. The Bureau also believes that expanded adoption of Swift's GPI product or Ripple's suite of products could similarly allow banks and credit unions to know the exact final amount that recipients of remittance transfers will receive before they are sent. And next, here's the next picture. The continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currency companies such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers, as well as a virtual currency XRP, which can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. What do you think's going on here? That's a government entity in the United States. So even if we don't have sufficient clarity, do you think something like that would be coming out? Galgatron making a salient point. I think it's cool stuff. Well, my bottle of Cavassier is empty, which must mean that our time is up here. You guys know that's a ladies' man reference, right? Come on. From SNL? If you don't know that, how young are you? Come on. Are you even allowed to be on the computer without your parents' permission? That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!